What's an integrator? Let's talk about it. What's going on, YouTube entrepreneurs and business owners? My name is Kyle Johnson. I'm the owner and CEO of Steady Force Solutions. And today I want to talk to you about integrators. What is an integrator? An integrator is a consultant who helps the entrepreneur or the business grow their organization's success and stability. They're often referred to as the right-hand man of a CEO. They specialize in being a soundboard, creating action, and providing accountability for the CEO and the organization. Integrators are most commonly referred to as a COO, except their relationship with the CEO is vastly different from the COO perspective. Integrator is going to be much more intimately involved with the day-to-day conversation with the CEO, the rest of the executive suite, and stimulates communication, growth, and traction for success for the organization. Oftentimes, the organization or the accountability chart will start with the CEO, followed by the integrator, the rest of the C-suite, and then your organization. This is due to create a tiebreaker effect when business decisions come into play, and it allows that integrator to have a little bit more of an intimate connection with that CEO and still be able to communicate on an even playing field with the rest of the executive suite. So now that you know basically what an integrator is, let's talk about what an integrator does. In short, they are the action to the CEO's vision. They allow that CEO or entrepreneur the freedom to stick to what they're best at, which is creating the vision, driving the organization forward. We see CEOs and entrepreneurs specifically create something great, but they get bogged down. They get so focused on the internal business aspect. In general, a CEO is great at creating new ideas, research and development, creative problem solving, major external relationships, the culture of the organization, and big sell deals. That's what CEOs and entrepreneurs really need to stick to if they want to grow their organization beyond just a business surviving. Integrators lead, manage, and provide accountability. Those are probably the three major functions an integrator will bring to your organization, but they have multiple different ways on how they do those things. They create and execute the business plan. They guide and direct the organization. They integrate the major functions of the organization, the marketing, the operations, finance, administrative, all those things. They ensure that each one of those departments, those major functions of the organization, are driving towards the overall goal that the CEO has envisioned. They provide clarity across the organization. They improve the people, the processes, the systems, and the strategic planning of the organization. But how does it all work? It all starts with the onboarding process. That takes around 7 to 14 days. That integrator will onboard to your current operating systems. That's digital components as well. And depending on the size of the complexity, how many individuals they need to meet, work with, can extend that timeline. From there, the integrator will analyze the major friction points and priorities for the organization. They'll do that with that CEO or that entrepreneur. You have to stop the bleeding, so to speak, in order to make progress. So that first conversation is going to be very heavy on what the CEO sees as major issues within the organization. Once onboarding and the friction is addressed, we move into the real work. At this point, an integrator is likely going to sit down with the CEO and the executive suite and discuss the vision of the organization. They will either create a vision if you've never done so with your organization, or they will reevaluate your current vision and then make adjustments to it as necessary. So the vision's gonna take into account your values, the focus of your business, the marketing strategy, the long-term goals, your priorities, your friction points. It's gonna look at the organization's roles and responsibilities. When the vision is complete, it's time to create the traction for the organization, and you're always gonna start from the big picture and moving on down. So we're looking at 10 years out. What do you want the organization to be? If you're a brand new company and you're starting up, a lot of times 10 years out is simply unfathomable. So in that case, we'll look at 5 years out. And then we would begin to reevaluate that after a year of operation. Once we start to understand the stability of the market, we can then grow into that 10-year plan. But we're going to start at the 10 years. We're going to move down into a 3-year vision. We're going to then develop a 1-year strategy. And then from that 1-year strategy, we're going to break down quarterly objectives. It will allow your departments and the individuals within each one of those departments to create individual goals. This process will provide specified focus to each individual to synchronize the efforts towards the overarching goals of the organization. Once we have our vision outlined, we develop some traction through proper strategic planning from the big picture all the way down to the individual. The integrator in the organization will shift its focus on building the ability to scale and stabilize business operations through improving the people, the process, systems. These elements do vary greatly dependent on the size of the organization, the complexity of the organization, but ultimately you're going to start to systemize if you haven't created systems right off the bat. So many times businesses get going, they start figuring it out on the way to success. They fail to document, they fail to create the policies, the processes, and the procedures to truly succeed and duplicate their results. That's really what we're going to start to focus on. We're going to focus on duplicating your results. And that's done through SOP development, testing and refining your processes, simplifying the start and end point from product creation or offering to the end result. Additional elements that they're going to start to look into is the organizational structure, the communication methods, and the management piece. On the people side of the house, you have to have the right people in the right seats. Sometimes an organization hires based on what they can afford, which is obviously something you have to take into consideration. But if the person is not right for the position, they don't have the passion for it, then it's time to reconsider the cost benefit analysis of the labor rate and the output. An integrator is going to come in and establish proper communication channels to drive the organization forward in synchronization. They're going to establish specified meeting types, meeting timelines, agendas, all designed around increasing the efficiency within your organization. The integrator is going to monitor, continue to ensure that progress is taking place, communicate this with the CEO and communicate with the executive suite to ensure that, number one, the team is on board with the changes, but two, monitor how those changes are affecting the efficiency rates. They're going to check and ensure that the changes that they are making are improving. And this is done generally over every 3 to 6 month period based on the input levels. Oftentimes, companies make a change, they only do it for a couple of weeks, they don't think it's working. It's just too short of a timeline to really understand if the impact is taking place. What does an integrator provide to you, the CEO, the entrepreneur? An integrator is going to provide, number one, a sounding board you can trust. They're going to be the person that you turn to have deep, deliberate conversations about important elements of your business, and that integrator is going to give you their blunt feedback. A lot of times, employees tell their boss what they want to hear, not what they need to hear. That integrator is going to be that element that holds you accountable. They're going to provide you freedom to operate on your business instead of in your business. They're going to provide you capacity because they're going to take a lot of that demand that pulls you into the roots of the business away. So they're going to increase your capacity to do the things you want to do for your organization. They're going to provide leadership within the organization. The integrator has to be an exceptional leader. You cannot go with an integrator that does not have leadership qualities. They're going to increase and provide management capabilities to your organization. They're going to increase your communication capabilities tenfold. And then finally, they're going to provide you structure, the structure that an organization needs to properly grow and scale. So at this point, you're probably saying, how do I know when an integrator is for me? There are 4 factors that you need to take into consideration when you're thinking about bringing an integrator onto your team. Number 1, financial readiness. You must be in a position to compensate an integrator. For perspective, a full-time integrator working in an organization is going to demand minimum $100,000 to $125,000 a year, but fractional integrators, which are integrators who serve multiple clients and they do it in a part-time capacity, is generally going to demand around $3,500 a month to $7,500 a month. Again, that varies on the experience of that integrator. It varies on the complexity of your organization, but generally you need to expect to spend anywhere from $3,500 to $7,500 if you're going the fractional route, or $100,000 to $125,000 if you're going the full-time route. Most entrepreneurs, even six-figure businesses, don't have the capacity to throw $100,000 into one employee. They'll start with a fractional integrator route. They'll maintain that person, or if the demand gets too high, then they'll go and hire that integrator full-time or find an integrator that can operate their business full-time. Number two is psychological readiness. You have to be ready to let go. And this one's harder than most people think. Most entrepreneurs and CEOs that have created great success have done it with blood, sweat, and tears. It's been all on their back. So it's hard for them to let go and give someone else the authority and the responsibility to do the things that they really don't want to do. Number three is lifestyle readiness. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you're probably working 100 plus hours a week. And that is very draining. It limits the lifestyle you're able to live on a personal level. And quite frankly, the integrator is going to help you with that. So if you're ready to decrease your hours, or maybe keep your same hours, but focus on growth or a new product line or a new offering, that integrator is going to help you with that. Number four, the final thing to consider before hiring an integrator is you're ready to take action. You know where you want the business to go, you don't know how to get it there, or you just don't have time to do it on your own. That integrator is going to give you that ability to take your business to the next level. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Come back every Thursday because I'll be delivering videos like this that teach you how integrators work, how they can increase your business, your team, and success to grow well beyond 7 figures. Thank you.